Well, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another episode in this entrepreneurial series. So I'm out, it's morning, nice fog over the lake, and it's just great being out here. Oh, and I got my bird friends out here. Maybe he's going to walk by while we're talking. So they're out here. The birds that walk along the shore here, they have special beaks which are made to dig snails out of their shells. And the snail shells, I mean, like this big. They're huge. They're absolutely huge. If I was into eating escargot, I'd have a plethora of food out here. Ugh, not me though. I'm not into that. So anyway. Let's talk about the book, Play Money, and the author, Julian Dibble, and what's so interesting about it. So, in 2006, I was, actually in the mid-2000s, I was talked about in several different articles in Wired magazine. And the author for, I think, all of those articles, maybe not all of them, but maybe the majority of them, was Julian Dibble. And it was really about his adventures in looking at this whole economy that was starting of games having real world value for virtual items. And so even at this time, he focused on Ultima Online and was using that as kind of a case study and everything. Ultima Online in the mid 2000s, it came out in 1997, and so it'd been around for quite a while already. And he decided that he was going to, after having some success with these articles that they were writing about what we were doing in Ultima Online, of selling these virtual products and selling gold and everything. And by the way, I want to say that we weren't in Ultima Online. We were not violating the terms of service or anything like that with the stuff that we were doing. We were. In the beginning, there was nothing about RMT, and later on, when EA took over the game and their lawyers got a hold of it and they said, okay, it's not okay anymore, myself and another select group of people were grandfathered in as being able to do business and be left alone and everything, and that we were okay to continue what we were doing because we had proven that we were doing honest business. And so Julian, he contacted one of the people in our group and contacted me, and he says, I've got an idea. He says, I want to become a broker. And I'm like thinking at the time, we had our broker group and everything, and I was very suspicious. There's always people wanting to come and be a broker and everything, and they were, I was just always very suspicious of that. So, I wasn't sure what to think, but I'm like, okay, well, this guy is an author. He has written some articles in Wired magazine and stuff, and so that gives him some legitimacy. And his pitch was, he says, I want to be one of the broker team, and I want to see if I can make a living at selling virtual goods. And I don't know if he told me right then that he was writing a book or not, but I thought, well, maybe he's going to be doing some magazine articles about it or something or other. I don't remember if I was clear on what was going on with that. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, let's do it. What can it hurt? Yeah, I mean, to bring another broker in, I think there was like 6 or 7 of us, and to bring another broker in, we could potentially reduce the amount of sales that each one of us gets. And back in 2005 and stuff, we were already feeling a decline. So we, but we brought him on. And it was kind of cool because I taught him everything that we could about that, myself and other team members. And he documented everything. And after a full year of doing brokering, he published, he wrote a book. And it was really funny because I remember one of the punchlines in the book. So we all get mentioned several times in there. He talks about his experience and stuff. And there's a link in the description if you want to get the book. It's on Amazon, and I think it's even an audio now. So, which is kind of cool. Anyway, he published in there about working with the IRS to pay his taxes. Because I know I paid taxes and everything, and I expected that everybody else did, but we were all in different countries and stuff, so it was all different regions and everything, but I was paying taxes to the IRS for everything that I earned on that. And but I had already figured out that we were paying taxes based on just like a retail transaction, just saying, okay, well, we just made this much profit, and so this is what we do. And he ran into something where he said to the IRS, he says, okay, this is what the description is of the type of commerce. The IRS had no clue of what he was talking about. And it was really funny, and this is really weird, but the IRS said, okay, well, to get this description added, to get this new category added into the tax code, it's going to cost you $10,000 or something like that. It was an outrageous fee, and it was a fee for them to research this category to add it, so that he could pay his taxes. Which his taxes, by the way, were not even going to be $10,000. So, and I can't remember how much he earned, but you'd have to read the book to find out. He did prove, though, that if you stuck with it and you did really good, you could actually earn a living. And I can tell you at the high point for myself, I was somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 a month in sales of virtual goods in Ultima Online, and that's pretty incredible, isn't it? So anyway, it was fun having him with us, and it was a great experience, and now I can say that somebody wrote a book about what we did and everything. The book was published in September 2007, so it's technology wise, when you read about some of the stuff, it's really the view of that time, and it's kind of cool. It's actually kind of a flashback for any of you who were, on the internet at that time and playing games at that time. You'd be like, oh man, I haven't heard that term in such a long time. Like the baud rate on a modem and stuff like that. I mean, who would talk about that these days? We're all talking about megabits in our broadband, in our internet connections. We're not talking about the baud of our modems and the maximum that we can get on our phone lines. So. And those were things that we all dealt with back then. We really were doing dial-up and everything to do all this stuff. I remember having a dedicated phone line for data in my house, and eventually, when it wasn't enough, when we were maxing it out all the time, we got a Supra modem that had shotgun technology, and we got a second phone line into the house, and we made a second ISP connection, and then we were binding the two phone lines together to go from like 14.4K, which is in megabit terms is let's see, you need 1,000, a little over 1,000K to equal a megabit, and this was 14.4. So just think about that. I mean, God, 14.4, it would take you an hour to transmit 5 megabytes, was it? It was something like that. And so, but we were able to bind these two 14.4 connections together to make it 28.8, and holy shit, we were blazing. That's just some of the fun stuff, So, anyway, go check out the book. Link in the description. They have an audio version in there as well. That's what I just saw, and it was a lot of fun. It brings back a lot of memories for me, and maybe I can get Julian on the show one of these days. Julian, if you see this, hit me up. Let's talk. I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.